My name is Brad Fouraker, and I really appreciate the opportunity to talk to you about Insurance 101. What is malpractice insurance? We all have malpractice insurance. We're all familiar with purchasing malpractice insurance. But the question is, once you spend the money to buy malpractice insurance, what does it do? What does it do for you? How does it work? And of course, we all look at malpractice insurance companies, and we have since our residency, as sort of a black box. We know that a premium comes in once a year, we get a questionnaire once a year, we fill it out, we send it back, but we're really not sure what is a malpractice company, what can it do for me, except in the time of a crisis, which all of us understand. But short of a crisis, what does a malpractice company do for us? How does it work? What is the structure of a malpractice company? Now, I'm a board member with OMIC and have been for the last 10 years. As a board member, I've had the unique opportunity to work inside of a malpractice company and to get some idea about how they operate, what they can offer, what services they offer. And so I'm going to share some of the structure with you of a malpractice company, as well as give you a few case studies of where a malpractice company has stepped in to be of assistance. Now, of course, we understand that malpractice companies not only have a structure, but that they are also out there to evaluate us as physicians. In addition, we as physicians who are paying the premiums like you would with any insurance, we should have some expectations of the insurance company. And we're going to talk about some of those issues as well as some of the more common problems and some of the more common difficulties which are called into OMIC and to the risk management hotline to give you at least an idea of how one might encounter and deal with some of these issues. First of all, are all malpractice companies basically the same? Are they all designed the same? And the answer is yes and no. From the yes standpoint, they all have basically the same structure. They all have basically the same departments. They almost all have a risk department. The risk department is principally there to educate and to help avoid claims. So they'll do things like put together educational materials, try to put together materials that will help guide physicians as to how they should act or not act. That's what a risk department does in general. Accompanying that is a risk hotline. Some companies have a risk hotline, some companies don't. OMIC, for instance, does have a risk hotline. And in fact, the risk hotline group is a group in which you can call into a company. And in the case of OMIC, you have people with 26 years of experience, only in ophthalmology. And they're there to advise you. So these are very knowledgeable people. They understand what you're talking about. They understand the problems. And they're there to advise you. Most importantly is that it's all confidential. It cannot be shared with any other portion of the company unless you wish it to be shared. So it's purely there to give you advice, to help you through problems. If you have a difficult patient, if you have a difficult situation, the risk hotline is there to help you. And we'll talk about that a little bit more as we go forward. There's also always a claims department. And of course, we always think about claims as being there's a catastrophe, such as somebody sends you a notice that you're getting sued and you need an attorney. And the claims department certainly will help with that. But the claims department is more than that. The claims department also helps with issues that are not directly related to hiring an attorney to help you go to court or to defend yourself in court. But it gives you a broader defense than just that. And there's also an underwriting department. The underwriting departments of any company are there to look at new procedures, new problems, to sort of give some guidance and give some guidelines as to what may or may not be covered by the company. And also to look at the physicians who apply to the company to see if in fact they're within guidelines and are acceptable to risk for the company. And finally, of course, there's a marketing department. The marketing department is there to try to help the company promote its materials, to promote its services, and to provide those services and that knowledge to other individuals, just as we're doing today. So the composition of a company, of all malpractice companies, is virtually the same. So all malpractice companies are the same. Is that correct? And the answer is yes and no. Now I'm going to talk about the no side of this. What you have with many malpractice insurance companies is that they're multi-subspecialty companies. They cover pediatrics, they cover OBGYN, they cover general surgery, they cover, of course, ophthalmology, but we're a small component of what they cover. And in fact, if you look at many of these companies, we're just a very small cog. We really compose a very few number of their cases. So their familiarity necessarily with ophthalmology is not so prevalent. Alternatively, you have subspecialty insurance companies. For instance, OMIC. OMIC, in fact, is geared entirely for ophthalmology. That's all it covers. It covers ophthalmologists. It's therefore familiar with ophthalmologic problems. It's a single discipline, concentrated company just to deal with ophthalmologic issues and nothing else. What's an advantage to a single specialty company such as OMEC? Well, first, of course, they have a very good understanding of the language and of the various acronyms and shorthand that we use in ophthalmology every single day. So for them, this is nothing unusual. They can pick up a set of our notes and actually understand them. They can listen to a procedure or discuss a procedure which we're doing and have very good knowledge of that procedure, have done studies on those procedures, have talked to experts about those procedures, so their familiarity with those particular procedures is tremendous. They already know about what is expected and unexpected to occur in a procedure. And of course, with the more familiar procedures, such as cataract surgery, of course, they have a working understanding. In addition, they also have a good understanding of the problems which may occur because they're dealing not with 3 or 4 or 5 or 10 cases of ophthalmologic problems in a year, but they're dealing with hundreds of them. And they're dealing with lots of folks who have called in with problems and to discuss those with the individuals. So they're up to date on the current standards, their current procedures, all the new procedures that are coming up, and with the frequent problems, so they can not only alert individuals about problems that are starting to trend upward, and to provide educational materials for those individuals, for all the individuals that are part of the company, but also provide website material, consent forms, things like that, which are really terribly valuable for what we do. They're also able to foresee problem areas and plan special educational events specific to those types of issues and to alert the membership so that you avoid a claim, you avoid a lawsuit, which is obviously a goal all of us have. We all want to provide the best care we can for our patients. So if they can look at a trend of other problems, that's fantastic. It's sort of like the FAA that has the near miss system. You don't want to just see the planes that have crashed into one another. You want to hear about the problems that are occurring so that you can intercede and try to help avoid those problems. And that's where OMEC steps in. It helps to intercede and help with those problems. And also to develop tools such as the specialized consent forms to help with these particular areas. Now, of course, there are situations in which you have an individual who is sued. Well, one of the advantages of OMEC is that they have developed over the years a cadre of attorneys that they've worked very specifically with that understand ophthalmologic cases. They're well educated in ophthalmologic cases. They have a good background in ophthalmologic cases. And so you can work with those people. They already have a relationship with them. They already know who they are. In addition, for the best expert witnesses, the same thing is absolutely true. You know which experts out there not only are well respected, knowledgeable in their field, good at reviewing a case, but also make good expert witnesses, can actually give testimony and are believable and appropriate. Those relationships are long-standing with the Academy, with the ASCRS, with the ARS, with all the other groups that we're all very familiar with. And finally, the board itself is composed of ophthalmologists, individuals who have the great subspecialty experience, who have been some of the tops in their fields that can help review a case, can help review a problem, can give advice, can help direct issues, can answer questions that our clients, our other colleagues have regarding a particular procedure, and can help give guidance as to what the parameters are for guidance or coverage on those particular areas and what they should avoid. So you have a huge group of individuals who are devoted and focused only upon ophthalmology to help all of our people who are insured by OMEC to do well. We want everyone to do quite well and to be protected. That's good for the company, that's good from a risk standpoint, it's good for our patients, and it's of course good for all of the individuals that are insured by OMEC.